Hello everyone, it's great to see you all. My name is Rachel Buzzell and I'm the editor of VN Times.
And my name's James Westgate and welcome to Happy Hour 3. Today I'm delighted to tell you that it's in association with MSD Animal Health. They're the makers of Bravecto. Bravecto is the #1 parasite product in the UK, with data showing both vets and owners prefer its 12-week duration of activity, and 96% of Bravecto cat users claiming they prefer Bravecto. So thanks ever so much to the guys from MSD for your support this evening. And it's going to be an amazing power hour. We've got tons on. We'll be kicking off. I'll be doing an interview with the lovely Lacey Pitcher. Lacey's had a hugely varied career as a locum VN. She's not afraid to lead from the front. She's been involved in numerous campaigns. Probably the most famous of them all is the Pay It Forward campaign, which she launched in 2018. It's had massive traction, and Lacey's been kind enough to allow us to be running that little initiative on here for the first two, something we're continuing this evening as well. We've had a lot of excellent nominations, which we'll share with you later. And I'm delighted to say that Lacey's going to be announcing the winner for us later on, but all that's later on. But we've also got an exciting panel conversation coming up, which Rachel's going to tell you about now.
Thanks, James. So tonight's panel discussion is called Clinics and Campaigns, Leading the Way. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome our special guests tonight, hugely experienced VNs, Gisela Luckhurst, Helen Manning and Kirsty Cavill. They will be joined by Lacey to answer your questions. And once again, you've outdone yourselves. You've sent us so many. It's incredible. Gisela has a wealth of knowledge in paid-for nurse-led clinics, having started numerous of her own from scratch. Helen is a practice partner and manager with a real passion for nurse-led clinics, and Kirsty is a charge nurse and volunteer network coordinator for Canine Arthritis Management. We will also be trying something a little bit different tonight. We are introducing breakout rooms, and they will give you the opportunity to chat about what has been covered in the panel, but we'll talk more about that later. Don't forget, this hour is about you guys, so we'd like you to get talking. Don't forget to post your thoughts in the chat boxes, share your experiences with us, and engage on social media. And don't forget to use the hashtag VNHappyHour. The Happy Hour email inbox is also always open, happyhour@vbd.co.uk. So get chatting, we'd love to hear from you. So without further ado, shall we get cracking?
Yeah, I mean, I would add as well, Rachel, we've got tons and tons and tons of top tips, a perennial favourite. So we'll also be announcing 2 winners of £50 prize later on this evening. It's been really tough for us this month to, we asked our panel to select. So it was a tough job, but they've come up with the top 2. And I'd second everything Rachel just said. Get involved with the chat. This is your event, guys. No question is silly. Everything we will try to get to. Direct message any one of us, the hosts, Ebony or Katie or myself or Rachel or any of the panel. If there's something you're not comfortable asking in an open forum, ping it over and they'll do everything they can to make sure that those questions get answered. But I think it's about time we get on with the main interview, and that's Lacey. Hi, Lacey. How are you this evening?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yep, not too bad. I mean, first of all, we've been trying to get you on this for about 3 months, haven't we? You're busy woman.
Yeah, I think I work nights, and yeah, every time I've been working, but I've often been running around the clinic still trying to find everything.
Yeah, no, well, that's good you got involved in the challenge. We've done that slightly differently this month, but we've had some great entries for that too, and obviously Rachel will be giving you all the details of that later. But we've had some amazing questions, all of them been sent in by delegates, old and new. So we'll get cracking. So the first question for you, Lacey, is I'm new to the nursing career and I've been finding it tough to stay motivated at the moment, probably understandably with everything going on. So could you tell me why you became a vet nurse and what drives you?
Yeah, so I've been in practice now 12 years. So I'm getting older. But when I initially came to nursing, I'd gone to work experience at a vet with the aim to be a vet. And at that time, nurses certainly weren't in the public eye anywhere near as much as they are now. And that's thanks to a lot of people that put a lot of work in to show what we do. And if I'm honest, I didn't have a clue what veterinary nurses did at that time. I knew they were in practice, but I didn't see what they did. And so going into practice kind of showed me and how versatile the career is. I could be doing anaesthetics, imaging, lab work, anything. And for me, that was really challenging because I really like having every day different. I'm not a person that works really well with routine. And I think veterinary nursing is so diverse that there is definitely a route for everybody. What I will say is when you're first starting out, have mentors, have people you aspire to be like, have bits of people, but don't try and template that person. For me, I don't work really well with routine. If I had used another person as a template, I wouldn't have been happy because I'd be trying to be them, not trying to be the best me. And so while starting out now, it's awesome to have other people shining lights on different aspects of the job, but find all those little bits of all those different people to be the better you that you can be. There are some phenomenal nurses at the moment. Jack Pye is one of them, who's
friend of the show, Jack. We love Jack.
Absolute babe, who absolutely adores imaging. And is really passionate about how much nurses can do. So while you're starting out, explore all the different niches. You might not like the first one you try. You could try 50 or you could try one. It doesn't matter how many you try, just find yours.
What's right for you is right for you. And I mean, obviously the news this week that the council, the Royal College are now permitting nurses to become practice standards assessors is another possible option, but we could probably talk about that another day. So the next question I have for you is the Pay It Forward initiative is amazing, and I would like to know why you decided to start it.
Yeah, so quite simply, I've spoken on podcasts and different things, and essentially it was born from a place where I had burnt out for more than one reason. I had completely burnt out, and I was having one of those moments on the kitchen floor where I thought, I just can't be bothered anymore. I'm not really sure what I want to do or how I want to feel or anything at all, but I don't want anyone to feel like I do right now. And so initially it was just that I sent 1 or 2 care packages anonymously, unexpectedly, to other people so that they might have a day that was a little bit brighter than mine was, so that they didn't feel the same way. We then I'm getting better. We is myself and a dog, and we decided a Facebook page so that other people that might be feeling the same way or just needed to send a virtual hug or high five could do so. I didn't expect it to grow. I thought it would be a small, maybe a week or two, 1 or 2 people, and 1 or 2 people would feel better. And because with Pay It Forward, you don't know where the nomination came from, you can't necessarily say thank you. The kindness is passed on, so it has a ripple effect. So I thought, if I can give to one person, that's 3 people happy, me, the person that receives it, and the person that then gives on. But it grew. And it grew because there are lots of people feeling the same way or feeling unseen, and it's amazing what just a little bit of stranger kindness can do for your day, your week, your month, and it kind of grew from there. So yeah. I would love to say it was a sunshines and rainbows, and it wasn't, but I pride myself on being honest and real, and I think showing the sides of us that might not necessarily be the beautiful side that everyone sees in the public eye is a way to open a conversation that's very much needed.
And I think that leads me quite nicely into my next question, which is we hear a lot about well-being among vets, but do you think there is the same problem in the nursing profession, and how can it be tackled? Well, I mean, I guess Pay It Forward is one small thing you can do, but yeah. What are your thoughts there, Lacey?
I think we definitely have the same problems throughout the community, and I think it's really, really important to touch upon that it's not just vets and nurses. It's the only time you'll ever hear me say just nurses or just vets. I think we forget about managers very often. They're the people at the top, and that's a really lonely place to be. Having been a head nurse, you don't always have the same sense of community and of work family, because you're at the top, you're meant to be leading. And I think that is changing, certainly in the last 2-3 years, and through the pandemic. That's something we're looking at a lot more as a profession and as a community, and as a big old dysfunctional family that we are. We're starting to look at our leaders and say, actually, are you okay as well? Certainly in veterinary nursing, there have been some phenomenal people who I admire hugely, who have gone out of their way to spotlight mental health, and not just say it is a problem, but do something about it, even if that's to talk and start the conversation. Zara Livingstone is one, she's phenomenal. Emily Holmes, the Empowering RVN, again, starting conversations. And I think that's a really, really important thing, because then once we start the conversation, we can put the information out there. Once the information's out there, we can look at what do we need to do to improve. If no one talks, then we don't know or recognise the problem. And so nothing moves forward. And we've got a lot better, but we've got a lot better at realising how far we have to go. And I think that for me is what I'm looking at, how far we need to move forward. But when I started in practice, it was barely recognised. So we've made huge improvement.
I think we've just had a message in there, Lacey, for PM. I know Boris isn't doing the best job, but I think you've already got enough on, Lacey. The next question we had sent in, you've done loads of different things in your career. What are the highlights, and how can I get some variety in my own career without looking elsewhere?
Some of it, I am very much a wing it kind of person, and for some people that works. I used to say I was winging it like it was a bad thing, like I was just floating through life. And actually, it's only in the last 2 or 3 years, perhaps, that I've realised that that's a skill all on its own. Some people plan, and they do so brilliantly. And I have absolute admiration for the people that can be so sure and so invested that it's going to work and I'm going to make it work. For me, my brain just isn't wired that way. And so I decided, and Ebony, who's helping tonight, I could never put into words how I make my choices. And then Ebony one day in a conversation said exactly this, and I was like, that's it, that explains how I live. And she said it either has to be a hell yeah or a no. And that's how I make my choices through my career. I was a head nurse. I didn't do it at the right time in my career. I didn't do it with the right support, and I didn't do it in the right practice. And it very quickly became a no. So I stopped and I left before it got to a point where I really didn't want to do the job anymore. And I think that's something for me that's really important. There are always going to be different practices, different teams, different cultures, different opportunities. And that for me is the important bit. So when I make my choices, I now do it with what makes my heart and my soul happy. And I figured out what my values were. So I really value connection. So for me, it's really important that I work with a team that connect. Or if I'm locuming, nights is often very small teams, that I have other projects outside of working as an RVN night nurse that make me feel part of a community. The Vetstagram community is a brilliant example of that. I still feel connected, even though I'm not part of a practice. And so I started building my Instagram page to still feel that connection. So we're making choices about career, figure out what your values are, and then work to them. Because until we know what our values are, you're not going to feel fulfilled. We're going to be singing to someone else's tune.
So it has to feel right to you.
Yeah.
We could talk about this subject all day, but we've got loads of questions to go through. And one of the next one I was quite interested to hear your answer was, I'm thinking of a campaign to encourage responsible pet ownership in my practice. Any advice on how to go about this?
Yes. Right. So for anyone that knows me or has spoken to me, I am incredibly passionate about the idea of communication and education, not alienation. I really, really strongly believe that especially as nurses, we are in the right position, the right place with the right time to discuss exactly that. It's not fair to say a person doesn't understand if you never gave them the tools to. So responsible ownership can be influenced hugely by the nursing profession, because we've got all the information and we're in a place to communicate it in whatever way the carer needs it. So
can I come in there, because it kind of feeds into the next question I had, which I may as well answer now, because I mean, obviously there's a lot around Brachy breeds.
Yes,
this would be a good campaign. It's around the area of responsible ownership, but how do you raise issues around this and not offend people, or is it just, should I just steer clear?
No, I'm sure now in forums people wait for me to walk in and they're like, oh, she comes again. There's going to be another mic drop. But brachycephalic care is something that's really important. And I think while I appreciate the welfare issues, and I know because I work with rescues and charities, I work in veterinary medicine, and I'm an owner or carer of a dog that is brachycephalic, rescued. There's nothing worse than saying, oh, your dog's ugly. Why would anyone come and ask you for help if you've made them feel small or belittled already? So from my perspective, we need to encourage the owners and carers of pets with the biggest welfare needs to ask for help. By just saying brachycephalics are bad, we push them away further, and they need us more than anyone. To me, regardless of what the welfare issue is, whether we're looking at puppy farming, saying all breeders are bad is not going to encourage the good ones to come and ask us for more help, or for us to champion them. This breeder's health testing, this breeder's looking at the behavioural impact of raising puppies. This is phenomenal. They're in the right place to actually shout about us, to build bridges so that we all work together, because until rescues, breeders, veterinary professionals and caregivers for pets, so pet owners, all work together, we're not going to have the biggest impact we can on the welfare of the animals we treat.
And vet nurses can often be uniquely placed to bring all those things together, can't they? That's the interesting thing.
Hugely. I think it's important that we put in plain terms as well exactly what that is. I put a poll out recently to a group of French Bulldog owners, very specifically, and on that poll, 30% of them did not know, and it was a breed-specific forum, that their dog was classed as brachycephalic. They didn't know what brachycephalic meant. So if we never started the conversation to explain what it meant, well, how are they meant to look for help? Because they don't even know what to type into a Google search. So I think it's important that we actually look at each issue and we stop pigeonholing brachycephalic specifically, because when we do that, we stop looking at lots of other welfare needs of lots of other groups of animals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's very, very interesting. We're probably running out of time, so I'm going to cut down a couple of the questions. I'm going to jump over, and we've touched on a few things already, but for you, what are the things that make you most excited about the future of the veterinary nurse profession right now?
Right now, there has been, I think it's really difficult at the moment. Everyone's had an exceptionally difficult year for various reasons. I hate that when people say we're all in the same boat. We are most certainly not. In the same storm, not the same boat. Some people are in yachts, some people are in a dinghy, some people are on a door. Anyway, I think it's important that we realise that although the last year has been difficult, we have come on so much in the last 2 or 3 years even, and the plans in place at the moment to move the veterinary nursing profession forward are huge. We're looking at, just this week, nurses can become assessors for practices for nursing, assessing nursing. It makes sense, but it's not been there before. And it's because lots of people are standing taller, shouting louder and working together. And that's really, really exciting. So for me, the different routes of training, the realizing we are a profession, lots of people having voices about things they're passionate about and being empowered to do so is huge. for me, that's exciting. People are being heard, not just feeling unheard, which they have for a very long time.
Absolutely key. And I like this one's my favorite one, the one I've saved till last. But if you had one piece of career advice you would have given yourself 10 years ago, what would that be?
Learn to say no. Sorry, that was a bit quick, wasn't it?
Yeah, go flesh it out a bit, Lacey. We're not that short for time.
So learn to say no. Learn to say no to lifting that giant breed dog because it needs to be done. Wait, does it really need to be done? Because in 10 years, your back's going to hurt and your knees will be knackered. Say no, it can wait. There are very few things that you can genuinely not say no to. If you don't agree with something morally or ethically, say no. Just because it's a practice protocol doesn't mean it has to be yours. Say no if you're too tired to work the extra. Don't burn yourself out, because an entirely burnt out team are not going to be able to hold everyone together. Say no. You can say no to the extra bitch spray through your lunch break. It's a bitch spray. It's not a welfare case. It's not life isn't going to depend on it. But you need to eat and you need to refuel. Say no. There are ways to say no without causing huge drama. And if saying no causes huge drama, I would strongly consider asking why. And is that the right place to be?
Okay, well, I'm glad you said yes to us, Lacey, because we've been trying to get you on for a while, but that was absolutely terrific. Thanks ever so much for that. Lacey will be joining our panel shortly. But I actually forgot to flag up at the top, one of the highlights. We've obviously got the return of our very own Lee Clayton Harvey and Nikki Dartnell. And there we've got Vet Fit on this evening as well, with Holly, and you are going to be given the choice to do both later. So keep your eyes for that. But we're going to try something now by way of a poll with obviously our campaign and clinics theme for the evening. You should all get some drop down poll questions to answer. And there's just yes or no. So
have you had a chance to run a nurse clinic in your practice? If you can't see this poll because you might be on a different device, then you can answer in the chat, yes or no. Have you had a chance to run a nurse clinic in your practice? So we have got here about 70% saying yes, and a 30% saying no.
that's fantastic.
And then the next poll here is, do you prefer to lead the prevention healthcare clinic in your practice? Yes or no? We need like countdown music, don't we? Someone can do like countdown theme.
I could do something, Ebony, but probably
so we've got about 60% saying yes in that one. Okay, and then this one, I'd love to know the answer to this one. So, does your practice offer any virtual nurse clinics? Yes or no? Or we're looking into it.
So that question comes up in the panel later, actually, not to spoil it for things, but that's obviously quite a big issue at the moment.
Most of you are saying no. Almost 80% are saying no, with about 10% saying we are looking into it, and another 10% saying, yeah, we do. And then, so do you want to lead a parasite virtual consult in your practice? Then you may already do this. And if you do, it'd be great to hear it in the chat, actually. It's about 50-50 split here at the moment. Yeah, 50-50. And then finally, do you feel confident to run a virtual consult in your practice? Yes or no? 63% say yes. So thank you for that.
Well, there's an anomaly. 63% are up for it, and very few are actually doing it. So you know, it'd be perhaps something that that we should see more of. But we obviously we've got a ton of Pay It Forward nominations, as we alluded to earlier. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see a few of those coming up on screen for you all now. Again, we've been absolutely staggered, haven't we, Rachel, with the response we always have to this.
Yeah, it's all incredible. We've had, obviously, since we launched, we've had 2 lucky winners already. We had Kim Saka, who won in October, And then we had SVN Tamsin Jeffries, who won the November Pay It Forward. They both received personalised hampers from us. So I'm hoping that cheered them up, made their weeks, their months. So looking forward to seeing who tonight's winner is. So make sure you stick around for that.
Stick around for the big reveal later on that one. But I think we're about ready to go straight into our panel discussion. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
The theme here has been clinics. Once again, we asked you guys to send in all the questions, and we've been inundated. We had to limit them down to these, but Rachel's going to kick us off with our first question.
Yep, my question is for Gisela. So clinics, to charge or not, and if so, how much?
Okay, I've just started, well, a few months ago I started charging, and it was always a subject which was, you know, do we or don't we? It can be a little controversial. So we actually put out a bit of a questionnaire and did a bit of a survey just to see how the clients would feel about us charging. And quite a lot of them felt that we should charge for our services. Obviously, we were charging for anal glands, nail clips, and this is more sort of senior clinics, which we've been charging for weight management as well, because at the end of the day, if you go to like Slimming World or something, you would pay for the weight checks and things. So we got quite a lot of good feedback. I totally think, you know, as a veterinary nurse, you're more valued if you do charge. Makes you feel good. Clients are wanting to come and see you and pay for your services. And at the end of the day, we're qualified people. You know, we should charge for our time. You have to pitch it right. That's my only advice. Obviously, you can't pitch it too high, and you don't want to pitch it too low either. So it's getting that fine balance, really. I've had quite a lot of success, and I haven't had any clients saying, "Oh no, I don't wish to pay." They've always been happy to pay. So it's been quite well.
On that, Gisela, I mean, you know, we talked about this before we went on air, didn't we? I mean, they're spending real money, and it is just about, you know, if you don't put value on it, people will give it, you know, they'll take it for free. But this is valuable stuff, and you've been creating a valuable revenue stream for your practice in the process, haven't you, doing that? So
yes. I have to say, with the weight management clinics, it's been really effective because they tend to come to the initial consultation, and then when you want to follow them up, that's when you lose the uptake. So certainly if you're able to have a figure that you charge from the start, which includes their weight checks, it certainly bonds them more. Encourages them to come in because they're paying for the service.
Yeah, they bundle it all up. It's a very clever way of monetizing that, and something I see in a lot of the practices I'm fortunate enough to visit. Next question, this one's for you, Helen. Hi, you all right?
Hi, yeah, not bad.
Good stuff. I really want to get clinics going at my practice, but how do I get the vets on board?
Well, I can sort of only really speak from my experience. I basically went to my practice with a mini business plan and sort of pointed out to them what I could bring to the table. Some vets are motivated by money, some aren't. Some are motivated by not wanting to do dental checks and post-op checks and things like that. So yeah, I basically just said to them, this is what I can do for you, make your work a little bit easier and bring in some more revenue. That's pretty much how I did it and became a clinic nurse many years ago. Obviously, I don't have to pitch to myself now at my clinic, but it worked for me several years ago. And also sort of explain to the vets, you can get help for it. There's so many drug companies out there that have got resources to utilize for free. There's an abundance of information out there and help, so it's a fairly easy thing to do, but a lot of the vets don't know what's available. So it's just a case of pointing it out to them that you can get it and get it up and running yourself.
Yeah, nice, fantastic answer. So make sure your voice is heard, and keep going on at the vets until they go for it, or just go for it anyway, I guess.
Well, yeah,
Which is what you can do now because you're a partner in the practice, Helen.
Yes, yeah, do what I want. But yeah, I mean, the amount of dentals and sort of lump removals that you get out of doing nurse clinics, I think because clients are more likely to chat to you about these things and, you know, make an appointment for the vet. And it's about bonding them to the practice. They feel a lot more comfortable speaking to the nurses, I think, in a more casual setting. So, you know, it's not just about money, it's about that relationship you get with the clients coming in to see you regularly.
Thanks for that, Helen. Over to you, Rach.
Thank you. Kirsty, hello. This question's for you. Is there any advice you, or I suppose anyone else on the panel, could give on running nursing clinics in COVID? So obviously very, very topical. It's something you're all having to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. I've just done a lecture on this actually to some vets on managing pain in painful times, and I've kind of in a lucky situation in a way that I work in the district, in the community. I take my clinics out to owners at home, but I also do clinics in practice. And absolutely, we can still do this. I mean, obviously house visits aren't ideal at the moment, but I've kind of switched. I've gone to Zoom, I've gone to Teams, I do telephone consults, I engage by email. And I think, you know, if you're going to carry on that engagement with that owner, we can't let that drop. Many pets, senior pets, or, you know, may have sort of conditions that are chronic, they may be deteriorating. So we absolutely have to. And I've found the most effective so far is just to pick up the phone, call that owner, engage with them if we haven't seen that pet for a little while. And if you've already built that bond of trust with your owner and that pet, it's entirely possible to see that pet with the owner outside. If that pet feels safe, you can still do your nurse clinic and then communicate back to the owner. But conversely, if the owner can't leave the house, or, you know, they're isolating, we can Zoom call them, we can phone them, video call them. There's so many sort of avenues of media available to us at the moment that means there's really no excuse for not connecting with our owners at the moment. I think keep it simple, make it effective. Don't make it onerous on ourselves, but that owner will really appreciate any form of contact.
Great
I mean,
answer.
we've all had to get used to new ways of communicating, haven't we? I think technology has obviously proven to be an amazing tool. So I guess just use what you have and reach out to your clients.
I think absolutely. And I have my clients sending me their pets' homework. So if they have an exercise treatment plan or a lifestyle modification, I end up finding I spend my day sat in my lounge or, you know, in clinic with owners walking me around their house on video call to show me how their pet's navigating in the home environment. We can still do these things. We just need to think a little bit differently.
Thank you, Kirsty.
Great stuff. And this one kind of ties in with that. It's for you, Lacey. Could online nurse clinics be a thing? And how would you go about it? Putting you on the spot there, but it's come up a few times already.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really important area that definitely we can make massive gains in. I have to be fair to them. Charity practice really showed me where this really comes into its own, where they stopped having cat space transported to the practice. So stressed cats put in a box, driven across London into a practice where they could have a post-op check online with a nurse in their own home, where they felt more comfortable as an owner and the pet was more comfortable. And then if there was anything that wasn't 100% sure, they could then come into the practice. So we're limiting the stress to lots of those cats, and then only seeing what really needed to be seen. And I think post-COVID, there will be a post-COVID. It will be really interesting to see how that develops. Another really good area where I've really seen it improve is definitely things like arthritis management. Kirsty's going to be far better at explaining than I will. But things like a Helsinki score done in their own home. I don't know what flooring my client has got in their hallway that dog has to walk up and down every day, or that they went the trouble of putting a dog flap into the back door. That's awesome. It's got 2 steps to get down the other side, which is like me jumping half a door every time I want to go out for a pee. So I think actually there's massive gains to be made Brachycephalics, another really good example. It's all well and good to say a dog has BOAS issues. Yes, it probably does to a degree, but we've made them travel. They've come to practice, they've got stress, and then we're seeing them under stress. We're not seeing them under their normal circumstances. So I think as things develop, there's definitely a massive room in the market, and it doesn't necessarily, that doesn't come down to money, that comes down to the best possible treatment for that animal. Can be done virtually really, really well, and then we can have follow-ups done in the clinic if we need to build on the rapport we've already got there. People feel more comfortable in their home quite often. They're going to be more honest with their answers, just because they feel they can talk to you. You're a person. It just has a really different effect.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, and with increasing a chunk of millennial customers, and the clients have got used to this, they're happy enough. I think the last 12 months have told us that they will engage with you, and they are up to speed with these tech. And I guess there are parts of the profession that need to and maybe can make the most of it. And clearly from your answer, Lacey, that's something vet nurses can do, and if they're able to, perhaps should be doing. But over to you, Rachel, conscious of time.
Thank you. Back to you, Gisela. We offer nursing clinics at our practice, but we could do with some advice on how to improve uptake.
I think the key is targeting your patients. So don't do everything at once. So have a focus on a specific clinic that you'd like to advertise, and stick with that first. Social media is a really good platform, so like your Facebook. Of course, if you get more likes on the Facebook page, then that's good for your practice as well. Questionnaires is quite a good one for clients, just judging how they feel about things, and how they would like to move forward, because it's very important for them to have some input, or on how they, if we were to start up a new clinic, how they would feel about that. So that's quite nice to get the clients involved. Obviously, handouts, referrals from vets is a really good one, and my practice have been really good with this. The vets, I've got the vets on board, and they've been referring down to me. That's a really important one, because if you can get your vets to support you, then you're already halfway there, because the clients then think, oh well, the vet suggested this, I'll go with that, and you're already winning in that way.
Good stuff.
Certainly,
we're sorry to cut across you, Gisela.
No, okay.
It's just I'm conscious of time. I've got a question for you, Helen. It's a perennial question, I think, this one. What's the best way to get clients to sign up to weight clinics and stay on them? And I'm sure everyone on here can probably put something in the chat as to what that might be, because I guess this is quite a common question, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of the hardest clinics to get people to either come to or continue. I think people feel a bit ashamed if their pets are overweight, and who doesn't like giving their dog a treat every so often, or their cat. So I found that just by sort of engaging with people, being more human, having a laugh, getting to know them as people rather than just clients, they're more likely to sort of stay loyal to you. Also, little tiny things like phoning them when they're in the transition period of changing onto a new food, or emailing them, just make sure they're not having any issues, just being there for them as a sounding board. I've got some clients that came to a weight clinic of mine like 17 years ago, and they've now come to my new practice just because I'm there, not weight clinic wise, but with their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've made friends throughout the years, and I know it's one of the most difficult clinics, but I would say it was one of my most successful clinics that I've done the whole time. And I think it's just a case of keeping in touch with people and not making them feel awful for having overweight pets.
So as hard as it sounds, sometimes good things can start from weight clinics for everybody.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, and motivate them as well. There are food companies who'll give you a free bag of food when they hit the target weight and things like that. Reward them and praise them, the pets and the owners, for doing a really good job.
Great answer. Rachel?
Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, I think we probably do.
Lovely.
We might even have time for 2 more if we keep it quick.
Fantastic. Right, Kirsty, this one's for you. Do you have any specific advice for setting up nurse-led clinics for senior pets?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, the first thing is senior pets. To me, age is just a number. So I don't see a dog of 14 and think, well, that's a really old dog. We have to evaluate every animal on its merit, on its other comorbidities and what may be going on. So that's the first thing. I think the mindset. We can't just see them as old pets, old animals. They are seniors, but there's a lot we can do for them. So I don't let age be constrictive. If we're going to run the clinic in the practice, I will walk around my practice with thinking about, you know, if this was my granny in high heels and this was how would she manage to get around this practice? Exactly the same. Are we safe to bring pets into this practice, or will they get injured coming into our practice by slipping on the floors? So the practicalities, first of all, or actually, is it detrimental for that animal to travel and come in? Should we be seeing that pet at home, or at the moment virtually at home? So I think those are the first things. Have some resources, but I think most importantly is do a bit of research, but get someone on board in your practice with you. You can't do this on your own. You need a vet, you need another nurse, someone who's equally as passionate as you. So as you've got a sounding board, you've got some support, but you've also got that continuity of care when that pet comes back in, or every time you communicate with that owner, so that you're evaluating effectively and you're noticing subtle changes. So do your research, set up your toolbox, and by a toolbox it could be, you know, a person, your resources, what you've got available in your practice. You know, I would say to people, if you're thinking, have a look at the Canine Arthritis website. There's loads of great resources. They're free to download for you to take away and do what you want with, to help you set up your clinics. Don't try and do it on your own, please. Get the support you need to run it effectively.
And there's some great stuff on that CAM site and some new courses you alluded to that have been launched recently. So I'd second everything you just said there. I think we've probably run out of time for the panel, but I'm going to quickly try and squeak one more quick question into you, Gisela.
Yeah.
So do you think it is possible to run nursing clinics over the phone?
Yes, I have actually been doing that the last few weeks, and it's actually been quite successful. So I've done some weight management cases on the phone. It's been quite handy because as long as I've got measurements from the vet that's referred to me, I've got some pictures, and they've done a body score for me. And then I can have a long discussion on the phone, and it's just as well in the consulting room or on the phone. I think you can still get your voice across, you know, and obviously that they're quite happy to hear what you have to say and the advice. We've also been doing some post-op checks, so we've asked for them to take pictures, email them to us, and we've been able to look at the wound and assess the wound. I understand it's case-by-case basis, so you know there are certain patients that would need to come in to have the wound checked, but more routine things could probably just be checked like that, unless they've got any issues that they're saying, you know, they're not eating or they're off colour, etc. But you can determine that from the phone call. So yeah, it's worked quite well.
Great stuff, Gisela. And Rachel, just quickly ask you've got 30 seconds to answer this one, Lacey.
Okay, Lacey, no pressure. What are the best ways to get clients interested in attending our nurse clinics, and how can we keep them coming?
Speak to them like people. They're coming to use your service already. Speak to them like people. Don't preach. We don't need to. They've already come and they've already asked for help. They've already given that permission for you to help them. So just talk to them like a person, like you would want to see. That's all they want.
It's a lovely place to finish it, I think. Really great stuff, guys. I thought that was an excellent discussion there.
So we are now going to be going into our choice sessions, which are going to be staying in this room. If you want to get on with our Nikki and Lee baking special, which actually is on smoothie making today. And otherwise, you are going to be, if you want to go and do Vet Fit, you are going to be prompted in a minute to go into a breakout room.
I'm Holly, nice to meet you. I'm actually a vet, I've only been in practice for 6 months now, but I help co-run VetFit. We're a 3-person team currently with myself and my 2 colleagues, Andy and Charlie. They set up VetFit back in 2018 after running a load of research when they were at RVC about the effects of exercise on your mental and physical health, especially among the veterinary profession. We all know that we struggle to exercise both in and out of practice because of the long shifts that we work, our time pressures at work, because most of the time at the end of the day, when you've had such a busy day on your feet, you just want to come home and veg on the sofa. And 80% of vets, vet nurses, vet techs report that they know exercise is good for them, but that they don't do it for various reasons. So we started VetFit to try and bridge that gap and improve wellbeing in practice through exercise and social support. So for the last few years, we've just been traveling around when it was available and doing talks and running fitness sessions. But our ultimate aim is to become a CPD service where practices hire us in and we deliver a wellbeing package to practices and the teams through workout sessions, mediation and support, coaching, etc., which is hopefully, fingers crossed, starting very soon because we are receiving some funding and I'm actually going part-time to help start the business up. So we're going to be running our program very soon. It's very exciting. It's very scary, but very exciting because we really want to make a difference. And we've had quite good feedback from sessions that we have run. And we're really, really passionate about what we do. We're all quite keen sports people. At school, I was always the person that was at the back. I wasn't even allowed to do the bleep test when I was at school because I was that unfit. And I discovered sport when I was at uni and I really struggled through the course. I discovered weightlifting and nothing made me feel better and made me switch off more than swinging a bar over my head. And now I live for CrossFit. I'm a bit of a heavy goer when it comes to sport. And Andy and Charlie love rugby, golf, football, all the lot. So we're really passionate about what we do and we really are passionate about getting the profession moving. So that is a bit about what we're about. I don't know if we might have any others joining. What do you think, Katie?
I think at the moment, Holly, I can't see anyone else coming in. We've got 18 people in here. I'm not sure if you can see them all because some people might not have cameras on. They might be feeling maybe a little self-conscious about having the camera on for the workout. So
that's fine. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different today because you guys have got me and not Andy and Charlie. And I thought I would run you guys through a bit of a press-up workshop. Because statistically, I know that we have some amazing gentlemen in this group, but a lot of women who are nurses, we neglect our upper bodies because we're naturally much stronger in the legs, and women don't do generically as many press-ups and we struggle with our upper body a bit more. And so press-ups are very daunting, but there's a lot of methods that you can use to help introduce yourself, get your arms stronger, and also that's going to help you in practice too because we do so much lifting and heavy work. So if that's all something you'd be keen for, what I thought I might do is run you through a little tutorial, and then depending on how much time we've got left, I was going to run you through a very short workout to help you practice with your press-ups through the end. So I'm glad that some of you might have your cameras on, and if you're happy to keep them on, please do, because it just gives me some extra faces to try and help as well. Please be mindful of any injuries that you may have because I can't help you through a screen. I'm going to try my absolute best to keep things simple for you, and you can scale as much as you can, and I'm going to try and help you do that as best as possible. So to start with, you might see there are very different forms of press-ups. Now, ultimately, if you're pressing up with your arms wide, you're going to work your shoulders more and you have less range of motion. Whereas if you're pressing up narrow, you're going to work your triceps more. Okay, so basically I'm going to run you through a few variations of the press up. Now, you can either use your feet, so you can get into a plank position, or you can get onto your knees. So it depends on how strong you feel you already currently are. The idea is that instead of arching or coning your back, you need a straight line from your ankle to your hips to your chest. So whether you can achieve that through your feet or through your knees, obviously you can't have a straight line with your ankles, but from your knees to your hips to your chest, that is how you need your press up to be. So imagine you've got a rod all the way up your back and along your chest. So if you can try and do 5 press ups just with your hands sort of shoulder distance, slightly wider apart, and either on your knees, like so, down and back up again, or on your feet, down and back up again, and try and do 5 of those if you can. And I'll give you a couple minutes. And it helps as well if you breathe in on the way down and use your exhale to power you back up again. Beautiful. That's it. If you're struggling to keep your torso and your hips straight, use your knees. And if you struggle more, lower yourself slowly to the ground all the way, let go, and bring yourself back up again. And that just helps with your descent. So you can go 3, 2, 1, and back up again. That's it. Just try and keep that nice straight line from your hips to your shoulders. Okay. Once you've done 5 of those, have a little rest, and then try with a nice wide stance like I was showing, and you will feel it much more in your shoulders. A nice wide grip down. Try and do a perpendicular view as well. It's really hard on the camera, see, like that, and that's working your shoulders more. Remember to keep a nice straight line from your hips, your knees, up to your chest. That's it. And try and get your chest to the floor if you can. And back up again. And like I said, if you're struggling, descend, get your chest to the floor, let go, and bring yourself back up. And use your knees for that. Because it's better that you have the right technique and your back nice and straight and not doing a full press up at all, because you can injure yourself if you're curving your back like that to keep your body closer to the floor. Okay, and once you've done 5 of the wide ones, I want you to try your best to get your hands in nice and close to your shoulders and work your triceps, like so. You try and do 5 of those. Those are really hard. So again, if you struggle, on your knees, slow descent, chest to the floor, let go, and bring yourself back up again. Again, slow descent, nice straight back to the floor, and bring yourself up, and I'll show you on 90 degrees. Nice slow descent to the floor, and bring yourself back up. Once I've seen 5 of those, hopefully you all look like you're getting there.
I am doing it, Holly.
I don't believe you.
I am. It's the backdrop. I'm out of breath.
Really?
I've got my trackies on. I'm going to go. I'll disappear again.
Just a quick time check for you, Holly. We've got about 4 minutes left.
About 4 minutes. Okay.
Can I just ask a quick question of you, Holly? Doing press ups, is it best to always have your hands out flat like that, or to have it in a fist, or is just best to have
out flat if you can?
Okay.
Just because it helps distribute weight in your hands.
So
less in your fist, you're distributing
likely
that
to
weight.
knacker your wrists up then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we don't have time for the 10 minutes that I had planned. So what I'll do is I will set a really quick timer. If I can just find, I've lost my timer now. So I'm going to set 3 minutes. And what you need to do is it's going to be a timer of every minute on the minute. So in minute 1, I want you to try and do 10 wide push-ups like we practiced. And then in the second minute, 10 normal width. And in the third minute, 10 narrow width. You can do these on your knees or on your toes, like I said. Take your time, pace yourself, don't rush. If the minute ends and you haven't done the 10, I'd rather you tried and did it with the best form possible. All right, so I'm going to quickly start that timer because I imagine we don't have time. Right, you've got 10 seconds. So you're going to start with 10 wide press-ups in 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Beautiful, guys, well done. And you're 20 seconds down. And if you've done 10 already, then you've got a nice 35-second rest now. And if you felt like that was easy, try and challenge yourself on the next one. And if you did it on your knees, try and do it full on your toes. And even if you only do 5, that's fine. The idea is to slowly work yourself up, because you're not going to be perfect at press up straight away, but consistency is key with these. And it's about muscle memory as well. So you've got 10 seconds, and then we're on to 10 normal width. So just past shoulder width. 3, 2, 1, let's go. And try and tuck your elbows in if you can. "30 seconds. So like I said, the idea is practice these consistently, and through lockdown, set yourself a goal that you're going to do n+1 press ups every day. So say, for example, if you'd like to master the press up, do 1 tomorrow, 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 4 on Monday, and by the end of lockdown, you'll be a master of the press up. So 5 seconds, and then we're on to our narrow press up. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So 10 of those, and try and keep your elbows tight to your torso with the narrow ones. Like I said, it really works your triceps. Like that. Halfway. There we go. Right, so you've got 20 seconds.
Oh dear, Holly, what have you done to me?
10 seconds.
Is that it, Holly?
That is it. Press ups are like the bane of my life. 2, 1, there we go, and stop there. So, how was that? Do you feel like you've got some tools now that hopefully you can take on and practice press ups with?
Yeah.
Definitely. My heart rate's gone up, that's for sure.
Oh, super. Thank you, Holly. That was brilliant.
That was amazing.
You're welcome.
And if people want to know a little bit more about VetFit, Holly, where should they head to?
So we have a website, which is getvetfit.co.uk, or find us on Instagram, which is @vetfitinsta. We're probably most active on there, but we also have a Facebook page as well, which is just VetFit. But do watch out, because we are growing, and we'll be in practices very soon.
And hopefully you'll be back on a happy hour sometime soon as well, Holly.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Fantastic. Well, we're all back, those that braved the press-up session with Holly at VetFit. I'm absolutely exhausted, despite the fact that no one thought I was actually doing it. I was. I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I've already had the opportunity to watch it, and I know it was very good. So thanks to Lee and to Nikki. Great effort. I think the sky's the limit for you guys, to be fair. But thanks ever so much. We've got a few things to do, very important things to do now. We've got to announce the winner of our challenge. Now, Rachel, you're going to announce that?
Yes, sorry, I'm out of breath.
Well, you were putting a good shift in there, I've got to say.
I tried. Right, so yeah, I'm delighted to be able to announce our challenge winner. The challenge was to show us why you love being a VN. And our winner tonight is Leanne Dabrowski. I do hope I've pronounced your surname right, Leanne. And there we go. There's a picture of Leanne up on the screen there. Leanne said, "There's so many reasons I love being an RBN. This profession has taken me to live my wildest dreams across the globe, in South Africa, Costa Rica, Thailand, and when COVID has settled, the Maldives. It created a building block to establish my business and obtain her master's in veterinary physiotherapy. And she just says, where would she be without her BN degree and skills? Sorry, I'm so out of breath.
And that's a
So,
lovely
that's
baby
wonderful.
rhino.
Gorgeous picture, isn't it?
It is a gorgeous picture. Now we are coming to our top tips section. Sorry for throwing you a curveball there, Ebbs. We had some amazing, and these are some of the best ones we found. So if your name's on there, congratulations. But we can only have 2 winners, and the winners are, we have Mel from the Earlham Animal Clinic. And her top tip is to use blood tubes on the end of the 5-litre disinfectant pumps to catch the drips. And our second winner is Tanya from the Queen's Veterinary School Hospital. If a patient is determined to remove a buster collar, place a harness and attach the collar to the harness. I guess that keeps it on. You both have won £50 in Amazon vouchers. They're fantastic, but I'd like to thank absolutely everyone who sent in their top tips. There's some great stuff there. It's a real treasure trove. And I think we're going to maybe try and do something with those tips to share them all with the whole Happy Hour community at some point in the near future too. And that brings us to our Pay It Forward winner. We have the absolute pleasure of getting Lacey to announce the winner for us tonight.
Let's have a look. I just want to double check my name.
Yeah, that's fine.
I can't see it.
We should have a bit of a drum roll.
Okay. Yeah, so it was lovely Stephanie Young. Stephanie is a student veterinary nurse, and I think it's really important. They have had challenges beyond what many of us had challenges while we were training, and I think this year's students and graduates are, although they've been put in challenging positions, are going to be some of the most formidable nurses that we're going to see for a long time to come, and she has certainly played a massive part in her practice throughout. So it's Stephanie Young is our Pay It Forward winner.
Great shout. And I know Lee will be making sure that something lovely comes your way. Stephanie will be sorting that out, as we will be sorting out the winners of the challenge and the top tip winners. That brings us to the end of this month's proceedings, and it just leaves me to thank Kirsty, Helen, Gisela and Lacey. Obviously Rachel. I want to thank Ebony and Katie for doing such an amazing job. I also want to thank our sponsors, MSD Brevecto, for giving us their support this evening. But most of all, and I absolutely mean this, I want to thank you guys for coming. It really wouldn't be anything without the interaction we have from the audience, the questions we get sent in, the amazing top tips and everything. To quote Ebony, the richness is very much in the room. And you guys are incredible. We will be doing this again. We will be telling you when. We might have a few surprises up our sleeves for when that happens. And I'm sure Lee and Nikki will be planning right now for some culinary disaster for our next offering. I know they're great fun, and I know the guys have a great time doing that. So thank you all for coming. Please send us anything in on a hashtag VN Happy Hour. Our email at vetnursehappyhour2. Send any ideas you have into us, because we really want to make this event better and better and better every month. And we can only do that with your input. So thank you very much. And just thank you very much for being with us this evening. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Oh, some lovely comments coming through as well. I love the Happy Hour, a really positive platform. The hour goes so quick.
Oh.
So. They had an hour 20 tonight as well, so
extra bonus time.
Exactly. I think we made sure we filled it well, but it was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, fantastic. Hopefully we'll see you all soon.